Welcome to a special audio-only edition of the Collingwood Rant. I'm Sly.
And I'm stuck in Adelaide, Spook.
How's the weather down there, Spook?
Like a fucking hurricane, but not the Bob Dylan type.
Ah, cool.
That's been beautiful, beautiful weather here for days, and straight into this because
you
it was
bring
rant
up
time.
bring up
Anyway,
Collingwood, and
let's
this is what
uh let's
happens.
talk about something else. Yeah, something, man. Yeah, that's it.
Just before we go into the game, I just want to highlight something that happened right after we recorded last week, which was Caroline Wilson condemning Craig McRae for not giving enough credit to St Kilda. How did you feel about that?
What a what a joke. I mean, she's queen of the muckrakers. I mean, that stuff it serves no purpose other than to inflame Collingwood people, and it's the verbal version of clickbaiting. Absolute nonsense. And it annoyed me somewhat that he apologized the
Apologise.
next
Well,
day.
annoyed Lee
He
Matthews
should have
because
sat there and just, yeah, he
annoyed
should
Lee
have just told him to
Matthews.
get fucked.
Yeah, he should have, but I mean, he's not that sort of guy. Anyway, let's try.
No, no, he's too nice.
Yeah, let's try and give some credit to Brisbane here. Anyway, we played the Brisbane Lions grand final
Eat a
replay.
dick.
Sorry.
Yep, yep. No,
Uh,
they can eat a dick, Brisbane. Is that enough credit?
okay. How do you think St Kilda
Well,
went then?
apparently, according to their Las Vegas trip, there could be a chance there. We're not having very much lucky with audio overlap, are we?
Well, that's what happens without video.
Yeah. So anyway, what was your question?
Uh, how do you think St Kilda went? I think St Kilda were great. No, seriously. The Brisbane fucking whatever you call it scandal popping out. Do you think that's actually impacting the way they play? Because to me, it doesn't actually look like it is.
No, I don't think so. I mean, all this stuff's alleged anyway, isn't there's nothing been conclusively proven one way or another. The story, I've read about 28 different variations of it. I mean, there could be something there. Usually, where there's a little bit of smoke, there's fire. But I mean, really, is it enough to rail their season? I wouldn't think so.
Oh, well, I just look at the second quarter. They fucking certainly weren't, distracted then. So 46 points up against Carlton. Don't think they were fucking distracted then. So,
No,
this
there,
distraction's very
there's
selective.
clearly there's a pattern with their form at the moment, and it certainly I've but surely they don't come in at halftime and then someone brings up WhatsApp and they burst into tears and then forget how to play football for a half.
Yeah, well, somebody might. That may be the way they roll. I mean, Collingwood,
Have they apologized to Caroline Wilson yet?
I don't know. I don't think they actually brought up St Kilda in that WhatsApp conversation. I'm pretty disappointed.
Well, talking to things that are fucked.
Starting with this game, Jack Crisp sub. Were you surprised?
Probably not with his form. Look, to be honest, I thought it was either going to be Noble or Finn McRae yet again. So a little bit surprised in that front, but not wholly surprised.
Yeah, actually, I like that it wasn't Ivan Noble and McRae. So speaking of Noble, how good was he in the first quarter?
No, he was very, very good. Yeah, I think in some respects you do miss. I know you hate him, but I think you do miss the run out of the back line that he provides. He don't think he turned anything over. He's pretty clean usage of the ball. I think is a bloke there that's hungry enough to put his hand up and will keep putting his hand up. And I think some of that is exactly what we need at the moment to reinvigorate things a little bit.
Yeah, I thought we really missed him against St Kilda, who were very, very good last week.
Did we apologise for not having him in the side?
No, I don't know.
It's
We should,
Caroline Wilson.
yeah, potentially. Yeah, Noble is really good. Frampton's the other one, at full back, really good. They moved Nick Dacos to half back, so they're trying to obviously stimulate run. And once they got that going, they looked really dangerous in that first quarter. Bobby Hill, 3 goals. Um, it was really, despite the dominance, though, it was like, shit, is the bottom going to drop out of this? And here comes the second quarter.
Yeah, that was disappointing. But before we go into that, though, how good was Frammers?
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
well,
that's all Australian form this year so far.
I wish I said 2 weeks ago we should play him at full back.
I mean, that was a great shutdown job on
Danaher.
Danny. I was going to say Danaher, but Dunny here. He normally just tears us apart. So well done, Frammers. I mean, how many
Yeah.
scalps he got these days? He's like a Wookiee out there.
Oh, well, I mean, you got to look at it now speculatively and say if we played him at full back in the grand final, we probably would have won by 12 goals.
Well, that's it. I think that's the case.
I think McRae just too nice, wanted to keep it close.
No, so I think we would have apologised for the 12 goal win to Caroline Wilson as well. Did you know that? That was in the script.
Well, I was disappointed in the Premiership press conference that he mentioned Kilda once.
No, no, I can't believe it either.
But second quarter, fuck, the bottom just totally fell out of the side. Scoreless. They kicked 4-5. They potentially could have kicked 7 or 8 goals and put us under a lot more pressure.
Yeah, I did hear the stat during that. I think it was the end of the quarter. That was the first scoreless quarter under Bly's dominance. Did he apologise for it later?
No, I don't think he did. I think he mentioned Skilda over.
No. Well, maybe Caroline could bring that up this week. Yeah, no, that was it was a bit of pill to swallow. But what did we end up at the scoreline at the end of the second at half time? We're only a kick or so out of it,
5
were
points
we?
down. So I mean, they kicked four,
Yeah.
five, 4 goals, 5 points in that second quarter. So, and a few of them are pretty easy. So we're only 5 points down at halftime. My cousin Bosker, he mentioned that, maybe that ends the scoring and which seemed funny because of, I don't know,
Well,
just
it did
like,
turn out that way
yeah,
until the last quarter.
yeah. Oh, but I mean, ultimately, they sort of, we couldn't even get it down the other end. So unless there was a hurricane that was blowing the kicks back every time we tried to go forward, I think they sort of adjusted and shut down a bit of our run. We weren't stimulating that counter attack out of defense. It was really just sort of holding on for dear life. But credit to Frenders again for probably holding the fort.
Weathering a storm, yeah. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of injuries down there that was repelled, which is good. I mean, in some respects, did it remind you a little bit of the well, it's stupid to say, the grand final, the way that it sort of panned out, that there was a number of big sort of momentum swings that resulted in scoreboard dominance for periods for both sides, and then the tempo settled down to a bit more of an arm wrestle.
And I just find that
It just
second.
seemed to be,
I
yeah, go
probably
on.
10 minutes in the second quarter in the grand final, I felt like shit. This is risk. This is they could just totally run over the top of us, and that's what they did to us earlier in the year. Um, at the Gabba last year, about halfway through the second quarter, they flicked the switch and they dominated until about 10 minutes in the third quarter. And the lead they established is the lead that they ended up winning by. In this second quarter, I just felt like fucking totally helpless. There was nothing. We weren't getting any run. We weren't sort of getting any chains. We were really just holding on. And it just felt like shit, this is really, really ugly. I mean, even McRae looked lost on the boundary, when they show the contrast in the way he was responding first quarter to the way he looked in the second quarter. But I mean, maybe he was composing as a response to St Kilda in the second quarter. I don't know.
I think so. He would have been penning some form of apology, I think, for this week's attack.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it was yeah, I don't remember sitting there. I mean we yeah, we weren't blown out of the water or anything score wise. So I do remember sitting there at half time thinking, oh well, look, the statement really probably starts now about what do you come out and do. And I think from memory, Brisbane kicked the first goal. Didn't they, the third quarter?
No, I got no
This feels
memory
like a
of it.
lifetime ago.
Yeah.
No.
It's about 12
But you
beers
would have
ago.
been yeah, I was gonna say you're probably about 3 beers into the game by then.
It was
Not.
half time. What are you talking about? Spent years into the game, the opening bounce.
Uh,
And
yeah,
the
no,
beer.
like you go on.
Oh, I was gonna say the beers are going down well. It was almost like we're playing St Kilda.
If things were going down any better, you'd be at Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wasn't too perturbed.
I mean,
I think I knew the momentum swing was going to change our way when the players are coming off the ground singing "Viva Las Vegas." I think that was probably the moment. I thought this could turn here.
yeah, my concern was more, our third quarter's been deplorable this year. So that was the worry that, if they're just gonna establish a lead. I mean, effectively what St Kilda did, St Kilda established a little lead and they just held on to it. We really tried to fight back. We sort of brought it to within that 14 points, I think. Elliott wasn't given a free for being charged in the goal square. And then they went down the other end and Higgins kicked the goal from the pie kiosk just behind the seats. And I thought that there was a risk of that happening because we just haven't had that spark that we've really overrun teams, that our pressure's gone up and we've just become dominant. I mean, on the flip side, as this game wore on, I mean, Bobby Hill killed that first quarter. And then, you really had Jamie Elliott, who you wrote off pretty much every week this year and last year. He really
I should
looked,
pen an apology.
yeah, yeah, mentioned Sakilda too. But he looked really good. And my check, kicked free. So you got those sort of forwards chipping in. About the only one who didn't do anything was Lockie Schultz. Sorry, shouldn't have mentioned that. But Jack Ginnivan, his stats are better than Lockie Schultz's this year so far, except for tackles.
which is which isn't saying much. Look, I'll still give him some time. Yeah, there's a couple of things that he did look that was really nice. Like, he really does look to have fast hands on the inside. Yeah, there's traits I think he brings, but I think everyone expected him to come in and apply immediate scoreboard pressure, and it's really not happening that way yet. But look, early
I
days.
just like to see
I
him
don't.
exist out there. It's like the first time we saw him was, they did the training video. It was like that Bigfoot video where he turns back and looks at the camera and then just keeps walking. And that was it. That was the last time we saw
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah. No, look, hasn't been a great start, but I think he'll come good. Are you? I'm confident he'll come. But
Yeah, look,
I'm just to go off on a distraction for a minute because I just found this interesting, even though it probably isn't. First quarter we kicked 5 goals three. Second quarter we're still on 5 goals three. Third quarter we finished on 10-6, which is we kicked another 5-3.
oh,
That's a bit of a funny one.
you'd take that, wouldn't you?
I'll take it. I'm taking it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I mean the second half were really dominated. So that was pleasing. I mean,
Oh yeah,
they
yeah, yeah. That was
had a lot more pressure.
good.
Had a lot
Yeah,
more tackles inside 50. I mean, we had about 30 more tackles overall. The result ended up for me being like, that's what the grand final should have been. It felt like, if we put our chances away in the grand final, that's what should have happened. We should have won relatively comfortably. And the way we were playing, it was like, even when they mini fretted toward the end of the game, I still felt like, I think we've still got this. It just feels like we have control pretty much. And it was a throwback to, last season, last couple of seasons when the game was close, you're pretty confident that we would hold our nerve and run out victors.
yeah. I was really impressed with the tackling pressure. It's like they went out there with intent and were able to really execute it well. The previous week, during apology round, I think they just tried too hard. They just really wanted that win, but fucked up executing it all over the place. This week, everything just sort of clicked. You wonder whether that's some of that thing about being out of the state, less pressure, all that sort of thing, that you sort of went back to your sort of your better game. Although obviously, Frammers and Noves are probably the main key reasons as well. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
a little bit
I
of
mean, I
both.
think Noble and Nick Dacos there sort of generating the run. I think I can't remember where I saw it, but I was saying that Collingwood felt, or they realised how much of their attack comes out of defence. So getting that run happening, it allowed certain other things to fall into place.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it looked more like the way they should. Let me ask you, how do you feel about Finlay McRae being subbed off?
Yeah, I forgot it really wasn't doing that much in the game. Wasn't damaging. I think he was part of a chain that resulted in a goal in the
Yeah, he did
start
that really
or
nice sort of
some
handball
point.
through the
Yeah,
centre. He sort of
and
grounded it.
then he was subbed off. Maybe the intent there is to make him hungry for his next crack at it. Oh, look, I'm not fully convinced yet. Yeah, he clearly is a gun at VFL level. It just doesn't seem to completely translate into AFL. But I would like to see him get a continuous crack at it. Yeah, I think it's a far cry from VFL tempo to AFL tempo, and that was a fairly big pressure game as well. Um, I look. I hope he holds his spot this week.
Yeah, like I mean, I had no problem for being subbed off in terms of the complexion of the game at that time. You know, it was him or Schultz or probably Hoskin Elliott or Lipinski. Understand why they stayed with Lipinski and Hoskin Elliott, and the Schultz was never going to get subbed off. And even if you did, you can't sort of play McRae there as the replacement forward. So he was the logical choice. Um, and as you pointed out, he was he was largely anonymous. And Jack Crisp, to his credit, really came on and and made an impact. It's easily the best half he's played this year.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's. I mean, yeah. Maybe they just needed a kick up the arse slash wake up call to re-energize a little bit in that area. Yeah, Crispy was good. I mean, but all of them have been really flat the last couple of weeks. That to see them go back to that real competitive edge style of play apart from second quarter was really encouraging across the board. I mean, you can't deny that this was a massive win in a number of areas to beat them at the Gabba. We haven't done that since I think 2018, 2019 was the last time that we won up there.
Oh,
And
it
they were
would be.
probably pretty shit back then. It, to beat them in their own dung heap it was impressive enough, but under the pressure that was there and the potential of going at 0-4, to turn that around was pretty epic.
Yeah. No, look, I 100% agree. I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, as I said last week on the rant, I feel the grand final rematches do tend to sort of bring the best out in teams simply because, there's a lot of, I don't know what you call it, ego on stake, I guess. It's Brisbane won to prove that fucking they should have won, and Collingwood won to prove that, hey, we got the better of you and we're the better team. So you sort of lift. So there was a lot of impetus there. And except for that second quarter, Collingwood played accordingly. So I was really, really pleased. And to see some of those guys like Elliott and Noble, Myercheck, a lot of those guys sort of piped in. The guys who didn't do as much. I mean, I thought there was some real horrible errors by certain players. They still did little bits and pieces here and there. Same with, like the younger guys like Reef McInnes. So I thought that was really encouraging.
Yeah, no, definitely agree.
Do you think they're back, Collingwood? Or do you think this is a one-off?
I want to see this week. I had this. I said after the game that I sincerely hope we just didn't pump ourselves up for this one game and then forget to turn up against the Hawks. The Hawks are running pretty poor at the moment. We'll be hitting that game coming off a 10-day break, I believe. Hawthorn played allegedly today. Um,
Well, they ran off because
Everything's
it was
stacked in our
raining.
favour. Yeah, yeah, I did see something about that. Everything's stacked in our favour to have a big win this week, and I hope that they deliver on that.
Yeah.
Hawthorn always seem to trouble us for some ridiculous reason, but in their current form, they shouldn't. But Hawks will be up. And then the thing is, I think this is going to happen every week. That yeah, as premiers, everyone sets themselves a little bit more um, to bring you down, and I think that they'll be waiting for this week, though we should account for it.
Yeah, I mean, Hawthorn were terrible against Melbourne last week, and they had a relatively decent showing against Geelong. I think they went down by about 6 goals at one stage, and they came back to a couple of goals, and then
Couple goals,
Brisbane's,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
sorry, Geelong just outplayed them. They had a little break because it rained, and they were worried that someone would get struck with lightning. So off they went. Who wouldn't have went off? St Kilda, very, very brave team, very courageous. They would have kept playing that game. But you're right that they always trouble us. I don't know why they've troubled us across multiple coaches, given that each coach has sort of played different. You'd hope that, you just sort of you smash them early and then smash the belligerence out of them and then just, even if you just maintain the lead and go into cruise control. But that,
Yeah.
yeah, I am sort of worried that is this that we're back? I mean, I saw Brian McCreary looking at Cameron saying we're back. Um, or is this the sort of performance that, it's fool's gold? It's like, yeah, we pulled it out for Brisbane and how good are we?
Yeah, look, I mean, it'll be all revealed in when do we play? Sunday night?
Oh,
Sunday
it's
afternoon or
Sunday,
some shit?
5:10 or something. That's something, yeah.
Yeah, traditional time slot.
What do you think of Gav around? Because I think it's a crock of shit.
It's signage for it here is everywhere. They seem to love it here in South Australia. Yeah. The concept I don't mind it. It just seems I
Yeah,
don't
they're
know. It
like,
just sort of seems tacked on at the moment. It really sort of needs breathing space around it because everything's sort of tumbled. I think round wise with the
What's the
structures
point
and
of it?
you
I
know.
don't. What is the actual point of it? I don't know. I mean, outside of
Well, I
ripping
think
off the
it's
NRL, what's the point of it?
it's got something on the signage here about the celebration of football. You know, it's I don't know whether you confine it all to one state and you come here and it's like a carnival, like a tournament type thing. You get to go to multiple games. You know, obviously the states it's mental for football, so sort of it's fit for purpose. I don't know. Oh, look, I find it harmless, but yeah,
I
I
look.
think that
It's harmless in relation. I mean, fuck, it happens or whatever. But it's you play Collingwood Hawthorn at the MCG, you get 70,000. You play it wherever they're playing it, you're going to get 20,000 plus. You're inconveniencing both teams. You can be inconveniencing every team who has to go there to play, interstate when they wouldn't necessarily need to. So, and I know some people go, oh, well, the interstate teams have to travel every second week. And I don't really give a fuck. That's not my problem. It's your problem. Move. Um, as far as Collingwood playing Hawthorn, I mean, if we played him in Tasmania, I'd understand. We're going to do this in Tasmania in the lead up to bloody the Tassie Merkins coming in. We're going to promote football. I just find it a crock of shit. I find it just totally redundant. Surely there's better ways to
oh
promote the game.
well, I mean, you've got a theme round every fucking round. You know, there's something to being celebrated. You know, to have the gather round and represent football in one state, it's just another theme type thing. But yeah, look, I don't mind the concept. It just sort of feels that, like I said, feels a bit tacked on. I look if you had it as maybe like after like a mid-season buy or something where everybody then has that time to stop, and maybe it might be a bit more even. But you're coming into this with teams coming off buys, teams coming off short breaks, long breaks, all that sort of thing. Does that impact the presentation of what now looks like they want this to be a marquee round of events? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting this year. I'll probably watch most of the games. It'll be just to look back at it and see what I think. Probably really not giving too much of a shit, but um, whether it impacts outcomes and stuff, I don't know. Doesn't really advantage anyone, does it, except the Adelaide sides?
I don't know. I mean, I imagine it probably advantages teams that are getting a bigger break going there than, if they stayed in their home state and shit like that. Or had to travel elsewhere to the fucking case. I just find it ridiculous. Find it one of the stupidest things the AFL's done, and AFL's done plenty of stupid shit. Where's the dedication of
Is
St
it
Kilda
dumber
around?
than a? Is it dumber than AFLX though?
Oh, look, there's a lot of dumb things. I don't know. Probably not because AFLX is a totally superfluous competition. It was unnecessary. But yeah,
Why bring St Kilda into this?
I look at the league. I mean, I think the league's a crock of shit the way it's run. Everyone always fucking points at the league and goes, "Oh, how well's it run? Crowd's growing." Like it's run. It's doing that in spite of how shit you're promoting in competition, how fucking compromised it is. You have North Melbourne with 78 top 10 picks now. Other clubs have to do it, legitimately and rebuild and fucking don't get to, harvest the bloody drafts for years on end. There's all these compromised things about the AFL, the fucking academy picks and all that sort of shit. And it's like, it's one of the most compromised run competitions in the world, and you're just compromising it further by introducing a round where you're forcing clubs to go play in a neutral state for the fucking promotion or some shit, which I don't think necessarily has to be done in a state that football is indigenous to in South Australia. If you did it, if you ended it in the Gold Coast or in Greater Western Sydney or whatever, where that then traditionally rugby states, and you're trying to overturn that with proliferation of Australian rules, I fucking understand it. I don't get it running over to bloody South Australia to play these games. Someone should just
I
close
don't know.
down the
I mean,
AFL.
I don't know. It's
I can't believe
obviously
how much
like
you
I
love
said.
the
It
AFL.
it feels like it's big here. Like the signage and everything everywhere. It's like when the circus comes to town, that sort of thing. I think.
Yeah, well,
But yeah,
just
I don't
fucking
know.
send the
I mean,
circus there. Send St Kilda there.
I, yeah. Yeah, look, I don't know. Like I said, I'll reevaluate my feelings on it at the end of gather round on
Ah,
reflection round or something. or apologise to Carolyn Wilson round, whatever next round is.
Yeah, it's so
Um,
spectacularly material, but so overwhelmingly unnecessary that I can only imagine JJ Abrams is behind it.
yeah,
Um,
possibly.
so the VFL team lost by a couple of points. Joe Richards kicked 6 goals.
The one taggy wonder.
Can we trade him for a first and second rounder?
I think we should now while the chips are hot. Is that the right saying?
I don't fucking know.
I don't fucking I don't gamble much. Yeah, no, it seems to be good. That's the guy that
Ben
Ben Reed
Reed.
was
Yeah.
was pumping up. He's a midget though, but he seems to be a goal kicking midget. So good luck to him. I mean, Hawthorn's drafted one with their first round pick this year, so maybe that's the trend moving forward. We're going to see the rise of the midgets.
Well, the thing with
You
Joe,
can't say midget though anymore, can you?
I don't know, you've been saying it
The the
repeatedly, so you'll take that, wouldn't
the
you?
rise of the stumpy legged ones, the little
Yeah.
fellas. You know the
Um,
ones, yeah.
well, I mean, yeah.
Hobbits.
But what was Joe Richards taken? Was about pick 716?
Isn't he on? Was it? Did we draft him, or is he on some sort of supplemental list? I can't understand how the draft works anymore. There's about 3 players you actually use a pick on, and then 74 conditional reasons why they can come to the club and train.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to look it
Or
up, but
is he a VFL player or is he listed?
no, I'm pretty
I
sure
think he's
he's
a VFL
listed.
player, is he?
Yeah. No, sorry, I'm
I don't
pretty
know.
sure he's
I don't know.
listed.
Oh, there you go.
I'll look him
That's
up.
how much
I'll
attention I'm paying them. So I apologise to Caroline Wilson about not knowing.
taken with pick 48 in the national draft.
Oh, there you
Mature
go.
age
He's a
recruit, had a
superstar.
fantastic year at VFL last year and consistently made those around him better. A strong preseason has Richards in line for a shot at AFL level in 2024 with the small forward continuing to improve all aspects of his games.
Well, I'm sold. Let's get him in the side this week. He can play on Hawthorn's dwarf.
No, well, I mean, Collingwood, whoever wrote the copy at Collingwood, they're just constantly taking shots at his height. Strong preseason as Richards in line for a shot. AFL level with the small forward. I mean, is that necessary? Really?
Well, that's it. He said, how was his game? He said, well, there's
I mean,
very little wrong with it.
well, look how fucked this is.
I mean,
While yet to make his AFL debut as he enters the 2024 season, Joe Richards has had a significant impact throughout his short time at Collingwood. That's just
it's
unnecessary.
disgraceful. It's
That's horrible.
disgraceful.
So I can take a look at yourselves, really.
They
Uh
said they hopefully he's going to hit new heights this season, like maybe the bottom of the couch and just climb up. He's all over it.
nah, well,
Yeah, no, that's good. Actually, the VFL side I think's been performing reasonably well in the last
they
2 games.
lost, so
They dropped this one by a couple of points against who was it? The Might of who?
Brisbane.
So Brisbane. Fuck, did they
Brisbane,
have a VFL side?
apparently.
Geez, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I think it's still the Bears, though. Um,
I think Kappa was still playing.
I think Shane Stremple was there.
It's a
Yeah,
punching bag.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, no, that's good on Brisbane. I mean, did we travel up for that one, or did they come down, or did we have a gather round for VFL sides?
well, I'd tell you, but it says the Brisbane Lions VFL side are off to a perfect start, holding off Collingwood by 2 points at Brighton Homes Arena. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Brighton Homes Arena. That
Yeah,
sounds a beauty. Hmm.
I think it's the
No,
back
it's a
of.
good one.
I think it's at the back of the Bunnings or something.
Oh,
Went to a sausage
yeah,
sizzle
no.
right before it exploded. It's 16 Eden Station Drive, Springfield Central, Queensland. So probably saw Homer
Oh, they
Simpson
went up
there.
there.
Probably Homer Simpson and
Springfield.
yeah. 6 goals, two in the first
Oh,
quarter ensured
Springfield.
the Lions held a 27-point advantage at the opening break. Lions midfielders on top early, though JJ listed medalist Jared Lyons and rookie Bruce Revell and as Harry Sharp played an important role in the wing. What the fuck's that? Lions midfielders on top early through JJ listed medalist Jared Lyons and rookie Bruce Revell as Harry Sharp. Is that like Bruce Revell played Harry Sharp like in the TV show, or is that like two different people?
I've no idea. I've no idea. Did they fly up or did they have to hitchhike? I mean, there's not much money in the VFL comp.
I don't know. They probably cycled.
Uh,
Lions finished with 32 touches and 8 clearances, while Sharp patrolled the wing well with 18 disposals and 9 marks. We're not really patrolling if you're taking marks.
Well, good on him, man. I mean, it sounds like a great game. Is it on KO? I might watch the replay.
I don't know. I don't know. Fourth quarter presented a challenge of Collingwood running to the scoring of 23 of a total 32 goals coming at the scoreboard end of the ground. That's great writing there. Fucking hell. They don't put any name on. Oh, this is on the Brisbane's website. Feel our roar. Check out our WhatsApp station.
Is there
Hawk.
an ad there to fly to Vegas at the same time if you want to feel their raw?
I think they said hook into our cloud. Shared all the big times with the boys. Don't just be a spectator. What
Does
happens in
anyone know that?
Vegas stays in Vegas unless someone accidentally uploads a WhatsApp conversation to the wrong place.
That's it, or just obsessively talks about milkshakes for days on end.
Yeah, well, I, don't know, I could say some more things while I'm upset. Anyway, playing Hawthorn, what are your thoughts? We've talked about like we've typically been difficult to face and tough game against Geelong in the fucking wet conditions. We'll be coming off Brisbane, but you'd think, after the big break, we should be relatively refreshed. Any changes for you?
Um, the only thing I'm wondering is whether they're going to try and get Sidey back into the side. Because we're doing this manage route. You can't say you're dropping players anymore.
Oh,
But
look, I had a conversation with someone about that, and they just sort of said, like, if you dropped, you actually will go back into the VFL. Markov played the VFL, he was dropped. Sidebottom didn't play at all. So this managed thing is a little bit different. Typically if you dropped, you have to earn your spot back. The managed thing is you take a week's break, we'll bring you back regardless. So I
yeah,
think
fair
they'll
enough.
actually manage Pendlebury this week. I don't think he'll play, and I think, they will bring Sidebottom back.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. I'll be happy with that. How
Um,
many games shy of 400 is Pendles? He's on about 385 or something at the moment.
yeah, I think he is. I'll have a look.
Yeah, so one missing a game won't impact.
387
But they're
games.
going to,
All
okay,
this
well, good
season
on you,
goes for
go.
about 400 games, so he'll get it with ease unless he gets injured.
Oh, yeah, well, definitely. Yeah, I don't think there's any sort of probably desire to rush him straight to it. They'll manage him to it one way or another. But yeah, okay. So he'd be comfortably be managed this week, I
Yeah.
suppose.
The funny thing is, I remember
So,
you wrote him off in 2018. He's played like 140 games since then.
to be fair to me, I've probably written them all off at various times.
Yeah, well, except for
I feel
Hoskinelli, you love him.
if I've written any more off, it'd be a tax return.
um, any final thoughts?
No, just get out there and smash the living bejesus out of the Hawks. I am sick to fucking death of losing to that side.
Yep,
Not
tips.
that I think we will, but let's just hope we fucking smash them.
Yeah,
I don't know. I reckon it's a statement game. I reckon 78 points. We're going to win this one by
good to hear you're not so negative. I'll go for Collingwood by 36 points.
36. You know, one of us will either be wrong or right,
Or both of us could be wrong.
or it could be both of us could be wrong or right. In which case, we probably should start thinking about how we apologise to Carolyn Wilson
Yeah, I
for not
mean,
mentioning the right numbers.
yeah, I mean, did Brad Scott
Diddums,
did he give credit to St Kilda in the Essendon press conference?
I think he did nothing but give credit to him. He actually came out in the St Kilda jumper.
Ah, that's good to hear.
Mm,
I think that's
mm.
Chris Scott. I think he's just taking the piss out of his brother.
And he stood there and he said, "My name's Ross Lyon today," allegedly.
Allegedly. All right. Well, that's it from us. We'll see you next week back in front of the camera.
We must be out of time.
Yeah, we're out of time.
Yes, we'll be back together in a place that we both sit next to each other at.
Cool. See you then.
All right. Thanks for listening, but not watching.
Later.
Catch.